So I'm going to do something a little different here on the channel and do a video focused on an individual player. And you'll have to let me know in the comment section if this is something that you'd like to see more videos of going forward. But we've been kind of spoiled with some great performances around the Ontario Hockey League. Michael Misa rewriting the record books with the Saginaw Spirit franchise. Jacob Oster becoming the third winningest goaltender in Oshawa Generals history, which is pretty good considering how old that franchise is. But Nick Lardis, he has been on a tear this season. He just hit 63 goals, 7 hat tricks this season, and he's rewriting the history books for the Brantford Bulldogs and kind of in the OHL's history books as well. So let's dive into the career of Nick Lardis and just to talk about this amazing run that he's been in. You'll recall that he was actually a prospect of the Peterborough Petes. He was originally drafted by the Petes back in 2021. And in his first season in the 21-22 campaign, 18 goals, 19 assists, 37 points in 63 games of work. You could tell early on that for Lardis, the Oakville, Ontario native, he had a knack for scoring, and that would continue into the following season in 2022-23. Appeared in 36 games, 12 goals, 7 assists, 19 points, but then was involved in a pretty significant trade because the Peterborough Petes that season were looking to go all in, and they would send Nick Lardis along with Sahil Panwar, a third-round pick in 2023, and a conditional sixth-round pick to the Hamilton Bulldogs for Avery Hayes and Gavin White, as the Petes were loading up for a deep playoff run. And for Nick Lardis, despite the move, leaving a contender to a Bulldogs team looking to the future, I think this trade really worked out for him. As soon as he joined the Hamilton Bulldogs, he posted 25 goals, 21 assists, 46 points in just 33 games of work. And that season, the Hamilton Bulldogs played the Barrie Colts in the first round of the playoffs. I actually had the chance to cover that series, and man, oh man, Lardis came to life in that playoff round. He had 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points in 6 games of work. That series, actually, between the Bulldogs and the Colts, may be one of the favorite playoff series I've had a chance to cover, and Lardis had his fingerprints all over that series. And for the Bulldogs, they forced that series to 6 games when it looked as though the Colts, they were ready to win that one in maybe 5 games. But there was a lot of controversy in that series too, if I remember correctly. Panwar, I believe, faced a suspension in it, but still, Nick Lardis was really showing what he was capable of in that playoff matchup. And then last year in 23-24, of course, the Bulldogs relocate to Brantford. And in their first season, he had 29 goals, 21 assists, 50 points in 37 games. The unfortunate part for Nick Lardis was he suffered an injury that took him out for the second half of the regular season. And Brantford kind of took a step back with Lardis out of the lineup. You could tell that he was a key member of that team, but he would return in the playoffs. And the Bulldogs, though, again, another 6-game series, they were eliminated by the Ottawa 67s. But in his return, despite missing significant time, he still posted 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points in that playoff matchup. So the signs were there that Nick Lardis was going to be a lethal goal scorer. He was also drafted in the 3rd round by the Chicago Blackhawks. If you redid that draft, I'm sure Nick Lardis would be a little higher in the NHL draft rankings. So the Chicago Blackhawks, thankful that they were able to get Lardis in the 3rd round because he's going to be quite the talent once he reaches the National Hockey League. So that brings us to this season. And for the Brantford Bulldogs, they were one of the teams considered to be a favorite in the Eastern Conference. Everyone was talking about the Oshawa Generals, the Barrie Colts, Brampton Steelheads, and they acquired Ryerson Leaders at the start of the year. And all signs pointed that, yes, this is going to be a big season for Brantford, although they got off to that slow start. Injuries plagued them, but despite those injuries, Lardis was there and he contributed right away. And at the time of recording, 56 games in the season, 63 goals, 40 assists, 103 points. He's kind of been going back and forth with Michael Misa for the league lead in points and goals throughout. Right now, Misa, of course, taking the lead, a stronger lead now in the points category. But Nick Lardis, he has been a man on the mission. And with 63 goals to his credit, he becomes the 41st player in Ontario Hockey League history to have a 60-goal season. That's 63 goals right now. Puts him 18th on the goals list for a season. And all he needs really is just 3 more goals. And that'll tie him with Mike Miller for 66 goals in a season. That would put him in the top 10. And then 4 goals would put him comfortably in the top 10 all time. So with about 10 games remaining or so for the Brantford Bulldogs, I think Nick Lardis has a really good shot of reaching 70 goals. If he hits the 70 mark, he would become the eighth player in OHL history to score 70 goals in a season. That would actually tie him with Doug Gilmour when he was with the Cornwall Royals. He scored 70 in the 1982-83 season. And if you're wondering, the all-time record for goals in a season was set back in 1980-81. Ernie Godden of the Windsor Spitfires. He had 87 goals. I highly doubt Lardis reaches that mark. It'd be quite incredible if Lardis would put up 87 or 88 goals. But still, he is in uncharted territory right now. And you have to go back to the 06-07 season. That's the last time we saw an OHL player reach 70 goals. And that was John Tavares of the Oshawa Generals. Alex DeBrincat, he got close with the Erie Otters back in the 2016-2017 season. He ended the year with 65 goals. So Lardis, a couple more goals, he'll tie Alex DeBrincat, who has the 13th most goals in a season in OHL history. So it's uncharted territory here for Nick Lardis. And even when you look at the franchise record for goals for Brantford overall, Nick Lardis right now second all-time in goals for Bulldogs history. That includes Hamilton and Brantford. He has 117, so he just passed Matthew Strome. Now he's trying to catch Arthur Kaliev, who has 126 goals during his time with the Hamilton Bulldogs. So I right now it seems as though by the end of this regular season, Nick Lardis could hold the record for most goals in Bulldogs franchise history. He's already set the record for most points in a regular season with 103. He's also set a record for most hat tricks with 7. So it's been fascinating for Nick Lardis, just rewriting the goal scoring record books for the Brantford Bulldogs, and it's exciting to see. And I think for the Bulldogs right now, they're sitting third or first in the Eastern Conference standings, tied with the Oshawa Generals. There's a good chance this team could finish first and then have home ice advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. Of course, if they get to the final and face London, the Knights would have home ice advantage. But this is a team that's really being embraced in the community. Nick Lardis, I wouldn't be surprised to see his number retired at some point in Brantford, just with how exciting he has been. It's been an exciting 2 seasons to start in Brantford since that relocation. And of course, we know Zach Hyman has now purchased the team. There's plans for a brand new arena. So there's a lot of excitement and optimism with this franchise in the Telephone City. And if you're wondering with the all-time goals, Nick Lardis in his OHL career, he has 147. And looking at the totals right now, he is 32nd all-time in goals. He's got a lot of, he's got a ways to go because the record is held by John Tavares with his 215 goals. So he's not going to reach that territory. Will he reach the top 10? I doubt it. Because the top 10 right now would be Alex DeBrincat. He has 167 goals in his OHL career. I don't think he's going to add 20 more goals, or 30 more goals, but you never know. But still, it's just been really cool to see that Nick Lardis rewriting the history books, and this is going to be a season for him to remember and for Bulldogs fans. So that's how I see it from the booth. Wanted to do something a little bit different here, featuring a player and talking about their records and their history. I will be doing another history session during the off season. I'm going to be doing a year-by-year history video series for the Ontario Hockey League, so stay tuned for that. So a bit of a sneak peek. But yeah, let me know in the comments section down below if you want to see more videos like this where we talk about individual players as they're making history on the Ontario Hockey League. Maybe this is something we can do a little more often here on the channel. So again, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I appreciate all your support and the growth we've had on this channel so far. And yeah, we're just a couple more weeks away from the OHL playoffs. Can't wait. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll talk to you again soon.